Hi, Tara Salee, Hy-Vee dietitian, here today for Diabetes Awareness Month. Today we're going to be talking about pre-diabetes, diabetes, balancing our blood sugar, and making 2 diabetes-friendly meals, including omelet bites as well as ground turkey stuffed peppers. So for starters, pre-diabetes and diabetes occur when the level of glucose or sugar in your blood is too high. Now, anytime we eat carbohydrates, our blood sugar does elevate. So anytime we would have healthy carbs, even such as a banana or other fruit, bread, crackers, or sweets, our blood sugar goes up. Now what happens when we're pre-diabetic or have diabetes is our pancreas that produces a hormone called insulin that actually helps that glucose go into our cells so our bodies can use it as energy. Now, if that process is not working properly, that's when diabetes ensues. So our goal today is to try to do what we can with our diet and with what we're choosing to eat to help balance those blood sugar levels. If you have pre-diabetes, then you could try to reverse that so that you're no longer in that category. Or if you're diabetic, striving to get better numbers and better control to prevent the onset of other complications associated with diabetes, including heart disease, kidney disease, as well as eye issues. So for today, I'm going to go through about 6 different tips that are going to be very helpful in helping to balance and control those blood sugars. Sometimes what we do with our diet and lifestyle can affect our blood sugar numbers and work almost as well as taking an oral medication such as metformin. If you're thinking right to yourself right now, this doesn't necessarily affect me, do keep in mind that over half of our population currently in the United States is affected by diabetes. If you have pre-diabetes or you've ever been told at a screening your blood sugars are a little bit elevated, the chances of you developing diabetes in the next 10 years is very high. So making these changes before it's a problem can be very effective. The first thing that you want to do is try to eat a serving of low-carb veggies at the beginning of every meal. Now, low-carb veggies are going to be things like your peppers, onions, leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower, green beans, all of our green veggies. Now, why do we want to do this? So having that serving of non-starchy vegetables at the beginning of every meal gives your body a dose of fiber. It slows everything down, including the spike in your blood sugar. This works extremely well at preventing those higher spikes. So whenever you have the option to pull those veggies onto your plate, number one, and eat them first at your meal, it's extremely effective in balancing your blood sugar. Now, I would even encourage you to do this at breakfast, which is a little bit trickier than some of the other meals where it's easier to get those vegetables in. But we're going to make omelet bites that naturally have some of those veggies to help slow down that spike in blood glucose, which leads us to our second tip. That second tip is going to be start your day with a savory breakfast. Start your day with something savory, meaning not a lot of carbs, not a lot of sweet. This is going to help manage and give you that better blood sugar control throughout the day. So for our first recipe, we're going to be making omelet bites. So what you need for this is eggs, onion, bell peppers, which I got the shortcuts for those, some milk, as well as some breakfast meat. So I went ahead and did turkey sausage. You could do turkey bacon or chicken sausage, whatever you'd like there. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna saute our onions and our peppers. So we are going to do 1 cup of these, and you can kind of get creative with whatever non-starchy veggie you want to include in your breakfast. We're going to do half a cup of each of these. And we'll do half a cup of the onion. If you like arugula or spinach or anything else in your eggs, you could certainly do that as well and kind of make it to your liking, but the most important thing is that it is a non-starchy veggie. This is something that you really want to try and do at every single meal when it makes sense. I know you won't always have the option to pull those veggies in, but that's one of the things that you could do, a small change without being restrictive, without taking things away, just trying to add in that non-starchy veggie. We're looking for about a cup. So 1 cup of that non-starchy vegetable. So while these are sauteing, I'm actually gonna do a little bit more of the peppers in here. We can start on the rest of our casserole. So I already sprayed our baking dish here, and then we're gonna preheat the oven to 400. You could also do this in muffin cups if you wanted to. Make them like in a individual serving. Okay, so we will need 8 eggs. Now, when we are discussing diabetes, we also have to be concerned about heart disease. Having diabetes increases your risk or likelihood of having heart disease as well. So eating a low-fat, heart-healthy diet is even more important. And the reason for that is because when our blood sugar is elevated, it's imagine more like syrup. So it's more strain on your heart to pump that thick, viscous blood through all of those tiny arteries around your heart, around your eyes, and around your kidneys. Oh, got a little shell in there. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more. You could do egg whites if you want to do an egg white bake. You want to keep an eye on these. I did put just probably about a teaspoon of oil in the pan as well. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and whisk these eggs. We're going to add our sausage to our pan of veggies over here. So if you were going to do bacon or whatever else, you would want to actually get that cooked ahead of time before putting it in with your veggies. You need a 1/3 cup of milk. I'm using the Fairlife milk, so once again, I am just cutting the carbs just a little bit with this. Fairlife is ultra filtered, so the lactose in here is actually filtered out, making it a lower carb milk. Lactose is that carbohydrated milk, but the protein is left. And now we're going to do salt and pepper to taste. You could also add, herbs if you wanted to, or any other seasonings you guys like in your eggs. Mrs. Dash has a lot of low sodium options that are tasty. Okay. And then we're going to be using some cheese. Bring it opened. All right, so next up, we're just going to assemble this. This went pretty quick because the turkey sausage was pre-cooked. So we're going to take this mixture and it will go right in the bottom of our casserole dish here. And then on the top of that, we are going to sprinkle our cheese. Okay. And then lastly, we're going to pour our egg mixture right over the top. This is really nice because you can make this ahead and reheat it so you have a quick savory breakfast ready to go in the morning. And remember, the fiber in here is the key. That fiber in here is going to slow the breakdown of everything so we're not getting that spike in our blood sugar. All right, so this is ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the oven as soon as it finishes preheating, and we will get that baked, and then we're gonna switch gears and move to our next recipe. The third tip for keeping your blood sugars balanced is to always have a protein with your carbohydrate at snacks and meals. So if we were to have a piece of fruit as a snack, we'd always want to pair that up with something that has some protein. So having some grapes or banana with a cheese stick or with a hard-boiled egg. Or if we were going to have some crackers for a snack, we would want to get out some maybe deli turkey or something to go with it. So we're going to pair up our carbohydrate with a protein. Tip number 4, we want to check out that food label. Going back to the importance of fiber and it's slowing down the breakdown of glucose and slowing down that spike in our glucose, we want to make sure we're getting fiber in the products we're purchasing. So you want to make sure that in every serving of a product you're purchasing, if it's a grain, a carbohydrate, that it has at least 3 grams of fiber. So here's an example of these Quaker oats. In one serving, which is half a cup, we have 4 grams of fiber. So this is a good fiber source and would be a good thing to use as a carbohydrate in your diet. Tip number 5 is prioritizing protein. We want to create balanced meals and balanced plates. That includes our veggies that we talked about a few minutes ago, having those at the beginning of a meal, but that also means we want to prioritize getting protein on our plate because that takes a long time to break down, a lot longer than carbohydrates. So it's going to give your blood sugar a lot of stability. You'll have less spikes and fewer dips, so you're going to have more energy doing that, and you're also going to have better control over your blood sugar numbers. So the recipe we're going to make now is something you could have as a dinner option. This is again something you can make ahead. These are ground turkey stuffed peppers. So for these, you're going to need some bell peppers. Any color will work fine. Some brown rice or riced cauliflower, some crushed tomatoes, onions, cheese, and ground turkey, which I've already started browning in the pan for us. So the first step is to prep our peppers. So you're going to cut off the tops of these, and then you're going to cut out the membranes on the inside, just kind of running your knife around. And you can pull out all the seeds together so that the insides are empty. You're going to do that to each of these peppers. Peppers, again, are a non-starchy vegetable, so it's another reason that these are a great option. All right, last one here. So we have our peppers ready. Okay, so now we need to get the stuffing ready. So, like I said, this is 1 pound of 99% lean ground turkey. You could also use chicken, and you could even use like a lean ground beef if you like that, venison. If you wanted to do meatless, you could do black beans. All right, so to that, we are going to add our rice cauliflower. So this is a frozen bag of rice cauliflower, and I already steamed it for 4 minutes in the microwave. If you would prefer to do brown rice, you could do that, but just in the spirit of trying to get more of those veggies into our diet that are gonna help to slow down those spikes in our blood sugar, this is a great way to sneak more of those veggies in. It really takes on the flavor of the seasonings we're putting in there, and you're probably not even gonna notice it. You could also mix it half and half, which I've done before for my family, doing like half brown rice and half riced cauliflower. You're gonna do 1 can of crushed tomato. You're gonna stir that. And then we're going to need Italian seasoning. This one's not opened. Okay. And then you're gonna do salt and pepper to taste. Now, the crushed tomato that I picked up was not salt-free, so I went a little lighter on the salt. And then again, you know, if there's other flavorings, you know, you would want to add, you could certainly do that as well. All right. We're going to go ahead and add some onion to this. So we're really incorporating everything that we were trying to prioritize in terms of balancing our blood sugar. We have those non-starchy vegetables, we have that protein, and they're just naturally in this dish. And because we use the rice cauliflower, we really don't have much carbohydrate in this meal at all right now. All right, and then we're gonna add our cheese. We're gonna mix the cheese right into this, and then we will bake it. The last 5 minutes of baking, we'll pull it back out and add a little bit of cheese to the top so it kind of gets melty on the top. All right, so here is the stuffing for the peppers. So it's that easy. This is also something where if you did not want to make it in this moment, maybe it was for dinner like tomorrow night or something, you could go ahead and cover this and just put it in the refrigerator. Don't bake it yet. And then go ahead and bake it right before you're ready to eat it. So now we're just stuffing these peppers. You could do like a casserole with this as well. If you didn't want to do a stuffed pepper, you could dice up all these peppers and just make a casserole out of it. But and the peppers is kind of fun, so. You want to leave, again, a little bit of room at the top because remember you're going to do a sprinkle of cheese right before it finishes cooking. Now when it cooks, the juices from those tomatoes as well as the onion is going to soften that pepper. So when you eat it, you want to eat that pepper outside as well. You could also do, if you're not a big pepper fan, like zucchini boats. So kind of carving out the inside of a zucchini and then stuffing that would be another way to do this. Okay, so there we go. Now all we would have to do is bake this in the oven at 350. Again, after about 18 minutes, pull it out, and then you're going to want to sprinkle that cheese on top and then let it finish baking until the cheese is nice and bubbly. That brings us to my last tip for you to help balance your blood sugar. And this is movement. So we have a window of opportunity after we eat a meal that we can blunt or minimize the spike in our blood sugar. And that is by moving. So we want to try to build in about a 15-minute window of time that you're going to go for a walk or move or just get up and do something where you're not being sedentary. And what this does is this actually helps the uptake of the glucose from your blood, and it is pulled into your muscles rather than spiking in your blood. So that blood sugar spike is much less when we're doing activity. Now, after about 60 minutes, we kind of miss that window, and we don't see as much benefit from that. So that is tip number 6. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see this here. Let me move this out of the way. Here is our omelet casserole that you could make into bites if you wanted to, if you were gonna do it in the muffin cup. But you can see that it's baked all throughout. The cheese is melty on top. So at this point in time, if I was gonna meal prep this, I would go ahead and cut it into squares. And then from there, put them in little like glass Tupperwares or dishes that I can microwave real quick in the morning, and then put this with probably like a half cup of fruit. But remember, we're wanting that savory breakfast. We want to eat that protein and those veggies first. So that'll be important that you have this part of your breakfast first, and then if you wanted to have some berries or something with it, that would be at the end of your meal. Hopefully you guys can apply some of these tips to your lifestyle currently to help better balance your blood sugars If you have any other questions, as always, don't hesitate to reach out. Your Hy-Vee dietitians are here to make your lives easier, healthier, and happier. Have a great day.